What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the JustCuzTV channel. Football is back. That means we've got Cousin Steve and Dr. West back for our annual over-under wins-loss video. Here, guys, this is one of our favorite videos of the year. I think, guys, we finally get to dive in here to the NFL season, and we are kicking things off with the AFC. You guys ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, man, let's go.
Awesome. Cousin Steve, how you doing, man?
Good, brother. Good to be back on the channel again. Good to be back predicting things, and we'll see if I can have the same, better success than you guys did last year.
Let's do it. Yeah, Dr. West, we got to beat Cousin Steve this year in the AFC. Because as we take a look at this last year, Cousin Steve absolutely demolished the AFC. Demolished.
Yeah, he didn't get the Super Bowl pick right, but that's the only thing I can put against him. Otherwise, he killed it.
Yeah. 11 out of 16 over-unders correct in the AFC. Almost 3 per division. Pretty incredible. 2 division winners. Unfortunately, Steve, Baltimore kind of let you down last year.
They did.
It was Kansas City that went to the Super Bowl from the AFC. But phenomenal year last year, honestly, for us. Because I think in our first year, I think we all did a fantastic job. Looking forward to building upon this year. And we're going to kick things off with the AFC East here with the Buffalo Bills. Projected to win 11 games this year. They actually won 13 games last year. As a reminder, guys, these odds do come from DraftKings Sportsbook, and the NFL added an additional game to the schedule this year. Remember that. So wins projections might look a little wonky with the additional game coming in here this year, but Buffalo, the current division favorite here. Steve, you ran this AFC last year. You going over or under 11 for the Bills this year?
And I got to stick with them. They had a great season last year. I got to stick with them again. Over on the win projection for the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo. Dr. West, you were also on the Bills last year.
Yeah, I'm not a Bills truther like some people are. I think they hit their peak last year, and this year I'm thinking maybe 9 or 10 wins. So I'm going to take the under. I know that's not the popular side of the over-under, but I don't know. I think we saw peak Bills, and now they're going to regress back to the mean a little bit.
Okay. So I'm in my normal duty here between you guys. I am the breaker of ties, first of my name, as we saw last year. A lot of disagreements between Cousin Steve and Dr. West. So this actually kind of makes me laugh here. Dr. West, I'm going to completely disagree with you here. Basically, what you're saying with a win projection of 11, this team who went 13-3 last year, Josh Allen's improving. The wide receiver core got better. They added Emmanuel Sanders, still have Stephon Diggs. This defense is fantastic with Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, and Micah Hyde there in that secondary. You're saying they're going to go backwards in wins, and they are playing an additional game this year?
Listen, sometimes you got to make tough picks. Okay. And the easy thing to do is say, oh, they won 13 last year. They're going to win more than 11 this year. But sometimes you gotta say some things that people don't want to hear, and I think that they're going to come backwards a little bit.
Okay, going out on a limb here, Dr. West. Steve, we're taking the Bills over. I'm assuming that probably means we're more leaning towards a Bills division championship here, at least at this point. But we've got the Patriots up next here with a win projection of 9.5. Division odds at plus 350 here, and as the group's resident Patriot fan, I got my jersey on, of course, for this particular video. This number, guys, is so hard for me because they won 7 games last year with Cam Newton, who is no longer with the team, obviously. But 9.5, guys, my Pavlovian instincts over the past decade and a half are literally telling me to just smash this over. But this is a brand new team. Mac Jones, he's a rookie. He's coming in, learning the offense. 10 wins for a rookie-led team, even with a Bill Belichick. He's still there, of course. It seems really hard for me to get behind. I think Mac Jones plays well, but not well enough to get to 10 wins here. 8 or 9 wins for me this year with Mac Jones. I'm taking the under. Steve, you're shaking your head there. Yeah, are you agreeing with me?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail right on the head saying like this. I think Mac Jones is good. I think even with the Bill Belichick defense, to get to 10 wins, even at 10-7, that's going to be a hard thing to do, especially with I think the Dolphins are going to be better than a lot of people think this year. So I think the under is where it's at.
Taking the under. So Dr. West, you took the under on the Bills. Are you taking the over on the Pats?
I am. I'm taking the over on the Pats. I'm just going opposite of you guys. It's my
Okay.
goal. But listen, it's Bill Belichick. It's the Patriots actually with their defense back. They were all out because they were scared of COVID last year. COVID's worse now, but they're like, okay, fine, we're coming back.
Right.
That's a different subject. Uh, they're going to be refreshed. And Mac Jones, I mean, he makes me look like I'm jacked and I'm cut. But I think that he's going to do the things that Bill Belichick wants. He's going to be an accurate passer. He's not going to give a lot of turnovers. And I think that this team is going to be an 11-win team.
All right, a 70% passer, accurate passer in college. Man, this team could still win 9 games, have a winning record at 9-8. That's still fantastic, but still the under. So how many wins do you think the Pats get this year then, Dr. West?
I'm predicting 11.
11. Okay. Interesting. Steve, how many wins do you think they get this year?
I think they're right there at close to 500. Obviously, you can't be 500 now, so I think it's like 7 or 8 wins again. They may even get to 8, one more than last year, but I think it's around there.
They got to 7 wins with Cam Newton and nobody playing defense. So I don't know. I just believe in them.
Okay, Wes, that's why you're amazing, my friend. Thank you so much. My Patriots fandom appreciates you so much, and shame to the House of Anthony for picking the under on the Patriots here. But what
That's
can
right.
you do? I'm trying to play. I'm betting with my head here, not with my heart in this one, and I hope my heart is correct. But we moved to a team that has the same exact win projection here as the Pats, same division odds, plus 350. They won 10 games last year. The win projection is 9.5 now. Dr. West, we'll kick things off here with the Dolphins.
I'm going to take the over. I'm still a Tua believer. I still think that the Bengals should have traded down and gotten Tua and got some draft capital instead of Joe Burrow. Not dissing Joe Burrow. I just believe that we could have used the draft capital and that'll show up this year. That's for later in the AFC. This team just does everything right. They have an awesome defense. They don't need Tua to do a whole lot. They don't have a lot of sexy players. The Will Fuller, he's going to get the job done, and I think they're going to win a lot of close games, and they're going to be in my division winner. Hint, hint.
Okay, division. Wow, I'm kind of floored by that. Steve, are you there with Dr. West?
I'm not quite division winner, but I am on the over. I think 10 wins is a perfect example of what they'll do, especially with one more game. I think what Wes said is great. They don't really have a whole lot going on, but I'm not ready. I was never a big Tua fan, but I'm not quite ready to give up on him yet as well. They've got a pretty decent defense. They've got a very underrated coach. I think 10 is right where they're at.
Okay, I will be the defector here and take the under for the Dolphins. Just to be different. No, I'm just kidding. Miami just confuses me, guys. I saw Tua play last year, and I was not impressed at all. Fitzmagic was a lot of those wins last year for them. I'm not sold on Tua, and it just comes back to that. They have a question mark with Tua. Wide receiver core looks a little shaky this year. I'm trying to figure out, when I look at their schedule and the division itself, how do they get to 10 wins again this year? And I can't see it with New England getting better as the year goes on. They close the year at New Orleans, at Tennessee, and then home versus New England. That's really hard. I think they get to like 8-6 at that point, but then they lose the last 3 games to finish 8-9. Taking the under here for the Dolphins. And being on my island out here, the first island for yours truly. And we are closing with our laughing stock of last year, guys. If you are not new to the channel, you know we had a lot of laughs at the expense of Adam Gase last year, who is now gone from the Jets. Praise it be the NFL coaching head coaching gods that Adam Gase is no longer here. But 2 wins last year for the Jets, plus 2,500, 25-1 to win the division, Steve. Jets over under 6 wins this year.
Under. That's easy. Like, let's be real here. Like, they didn't really get that much better. They got Zach Wilson, which I think he'll be good, but it's going to be some growing pains, especially with that coaching staff. If they hit 6 wins, they might be lucky. I think like a 4-13 or a 5-12 is kind of more their ballpark, what they can take. And that would be a good year for them. I think it'd be an improvement, especially over 2 wins. You got a brand new quarterback, brand new everything. So I think it's for sure.
See, we got some background noise, I think, on you a little bit. I don't know, maybe. I don't know, Wes, did you hear that too?
Yep.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay. All right, Dr. West then. Under 6 for Steve. Are you siding with Steve?
I am. I think it's an under. I think they have a lot of things going for them. Maybe next year, after they can, they've done what I wanted the Bengals to do. They built a really good offensive line. They went out the next year and then got their quarterback. They just have to fill in the pieces on their defense is the problem. I don't like their defense, and in a really strong division, probably one of the strongest divisions in football, I think that they're going to be a bottom feeder, probably a 4 or 5 win team.
Yep, guys, I had this team with 4 wins as well. Zach Wilson, rookie quarterback. Robert Saleh, rookie head coach. He's more of a defensive guy to begin with here anyway. Too many questions on how well this offense is going to play. Defense will get there. Can they score points? I don't think so. I have them really 4-13 as well, guys. Not great year for the Jets. Bottom feeding throughout this entire year. Steve, who's your division winner then in the AFC East?
For me, I think it's easy. I think if you look at who I picked, what I've got going on, kind of what I talked about, it's the Buffalo Bills. I don't think there's any I'm not to the level to say this is the new New England Patriots as this division, because I'm sure that the Patriots in a couple of years are going to be back. But these are the guys who are going to run it, especially with Josh Allen. They got him on a new extended contract. This is the Bills' division to lose.
Yeah, mine should be pretty easy there too. If you look at what I've picked as well, I have 3 unders and 1 over. Buffalo, again, I think next year is the year New England challenges this team. Buffalo should easily have this. And honestly, 160 for the division odds is not scary enough for me to get away from that. Especially when you look at New England, Vegas, and Miami. There's no confidence there at plus 350 for New England and for Miami. I think the Bills should easily be minus 200 to minus 250 somewhere in there with Vegas. So minus 160 feels good. Throw it into some parlays, build that juice up. So Dr. West, I'm intrigued to hear your division winner here.
Yeah, like I hinted before, it's going to be the Dolphins. It's not going to be sexy. They're not going to air it out like the Bills. They're going to win a lot of close games, but I am confident in this pick.
Confident in the Dolphins. Okay, plus 350. Would you bet it at
like
plus 350?
I would be very intrigued.
Okay. Very nice, guys. All right, let's move things on here to our hometown division here. Of course, guys, we are from Cincinnati. We've got the AFC North here. Vegas, they're a little sketched out here by a couple of these teams, I feel like. Baltimore, their current projected favorite to win the division with 11 wins, but a plus 110 odds here. You're getting plus money here with the Ravens to win the division. Dr. West, we'll kick things off with you here. Ravens, over under 11 wins.
Yeah, I think this line is absolutely perfect. I had them in my mind at about 11 wins. So, I mean, for the sake of the show, I'm going to take the under. There's just so many things that could go wrong. I'm a huge J.K. Dobbins guy, and he's out. It's going to be so much pressure on Lamar because I don't think his wide receivers are that good. And with J.K. out, yes, they have a good defense, but I don't see how they're going to score a lot of points. So I think they're more like a 9 or 10 win team.
Okay, Steve, we'll come back in a quick second here. I'm going to take the push here. So really funny story. I took the push at 11 last year with the Ravens, and they won 11 games. Lamar, for me, can he develop as an elite passer? This wide receiver core is rough with Marquise Brown and Sammy Watkins. Leaves a lot to be desired for me. He's a great cream of the crop rushing quarterback. Fantastic. He threw for 2,750 yards last year. I'm not touching this over under. I'm taking the cheap way out, and I'm going to push this again because I got it right last year with a push. Taking a push with Baltimore. Steve, are you going to break this full-on tie here and take the over?
I will break the tie, but I'll break the tie not in Wes's favor. I think this is as well. So I think right at 11 wins is where this team is going to be.
Ooh, okay. We are not high on the Ravens this year as a potential division winner, it sounds like. But Cleveland, on the other hand, they won 11 games last year as well. And over-under set at 10.5. We cannot push this one, guys, so we're going to have to pick one of the two here. Steve, what do you think of the Browns this year?
Man, the Browns, it's always a tricky thing picking the Browns, right? Because you always want them to do well. They deserve it. But then they're the Browns, and they kind of scare you in anything that they do in terms of anything well. But I think I'm finally on the Browns hype train here. I think this is an over. Wow. I think they win the division. It's either going to tie where they'll take the tiebreaker or they'll have about 12 wins. We've got 12-5. I think this is a good team. I think as long as Baker reins it in, Baker doesn't have to be flashy, doesn't have to be a superstar. You have the receivers. You have the excellent running game in Nick Chubb. You have that really great defense. Just don't mess it up, and I think they'll win.
Yeah. So as we say, if it's Brown, flush it down. Not flushing it down this year, it sounds like, Steve.
Right.
All right, Doctor Wes, Cleveland. Give me your thoughts.
You guys know that I'm a Cleveland hater in general. I cannot stand Baker Mayfield. But so obviously I'm going under. I'm annoyed by all this hype around them. Yes, I will agree. They have a well-built team. They have a great defense. They have an awesome offensive line. They have Nick Chubb. They have Kareem Hunt. They have Odell Beckham Jr., but they still have Baker Mayfield at quarterback, and I do not believe in him. And I think they're a 9 to 10 win team. So to me, they're an under.
Did you read my notes, Dr. Wes? For real, though.
No, I did not.
All right. Well, I am also here on the under train as the breaker of ties here, but the 10.5 feels so right. It really does. This division is tough. These teams are all good. They're all getting better. Saying a team is going to win 11 games is really hard unless you think they're going to win the division. And I personally don't think Cleveland's going to win the division. 11 or 12 is within their wheelhouse of outcomes. 100%. Good offense. Good run game. Picking Cleveland to win another 11 games this year seems wrong to me. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if they won the division. So 9 or 10 wins again for Cleveland for me. They flirt with the wild card, I think, this year. Not necessarily a division winner, but flirting with the wild card. The under is not a knock. I think they're going to win 4 games, but wild card is well within the reason here for them. And that takes us to the team that actually won the division last year. The Pittsburgh Steelers won 12 games. 8.5 over under, guys, on the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. Steve, where are you going?
So I think what I said about the Steelers last year was not true up until about the 13th week where they completely fell apart. But I think they proved what I was trying to say at the beginning of the year, that they weren't going to be a great team, that they weren't going to do very well. But they just held on to their old glory days that didn't need to happen that ended up being for no reason anyway. So I think this team is exactly who we think they are. This is a tough division. I do not think they're better than the Ravens or the Browns. Big Ben is deteriorating. He is not the only person in the NFL that could ever play that long as Tom Brady. He is an anomaly. Everyone else falls to Mother Nature eventually. Big Ben is next. I think it's an under.
Taking the under. How many wins do you think they get this year then, Steve? Is it way under 8.5?
No, I think it's like 7, just because I think the Bengals won't be very good as either. So I think that's 8.5 is just a little high. It's not crazy high. It's a little high. I think it's like 7 is what it'll be.
Okay. Dr. Wes, agreeing with Steve?
I'm going to take the over. Steve and I, we can't agree on anything. I mean, that's just the way we roll. I mean, so the question at the root of the matter is, are the Steelers going to be over or under 500 with the new 17-game schedule? I think they're going to be over 500. That's in their DNA. I don't remember the last time the Steelers were under 500, especially under Mike Tomlin. And I think that they'll get it together enough, even if it's Dwayne Haskins, former Ohio State great, that has to take over for Big Ben. I think that they are going to find a way to get over 500 and be a 9-win team. And I don't hate the plus 500 division odds for the team that won the division last year, who is not that different. Actually, they're better because they got Najee Harris. They're not that different than what they were last year, and the division hasn't gotten that much better. So 5-1 on your money, I think that's a pretty good deal.
Yes, again, breaker of ties here. I'm starting to like this role here today. This is awesome. I fucking hate the Steelers. I hate the Steelers, of course. I'm a Patriots fan and a Bengals fan. The Steelers and me, we don't get along very well. 8.5 feels a little disrespectful, in my opinion. Yes, Ben is a year older. He's in his 40s now. I hope he's kicked his porn addiction that he had last year or whatever was keeping him out for a while. Again, do they get to double-digit wins with one additional game? This team did win 12 games last year. Yeah, I think they also flirt with the division title here, and I love it at plus 500, honestly. They did pick up Najee Harris. This offense, to me, is better than it was last year. Defense still looks really, really good. Give me the over, and I think they flirt with the division title here, guys. 8.5, though, kind of, that stings for Steelers fans out there, I think, for sure. That kind of hurts them, I think, to be third in this division and see Cleveland 2 games better than them has what Vegas thinks. So we'll see what happens, though. I love this division, but unfortunately now, guys, we got to talk about our hometown team here. I know Wes has been a big Bengals doubter, especially last year. Bet the under, came through. Well done, Dr. Wes. We'll lead off here with you then. 6.5 this year in Joe Burrow's second year.
Listen, I'm not a Bengals doubter. I'm a Bengals truther. And I have been a Bengals fan for 31 years, and I understand what's going to happen. They don't call me when they make their draft picks, and that's the problem. This team, they always try to get by with the cheapest possible option. This year they got Jamar Chase, who didn't even play for a whole year, and now they're shocked that he can't catch a ball in preseason. We didn't need another wide receiver. We had T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. Like, there are so many bigger holes on this team. I'm just so freaking frustrated being a Bengals fan. I hope they get the over, but I'm confident they're going to get the under. And you know why? Because they didn't address any of the major problems. Joe Burrow's a great quarterback, but if he's lying on his back for the entire game, then what good is he going to do you?
Yeah, with another torn ACL is in play here again this year, honestly.
Yeah. Like, the defense is just so porous.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to play against any of these divisional opponents with that defense.
Very true.
So we're going to be good about the time that Joe Burrow's rookie contract is running out.
Yeah,
that's what's going to end up happening, and then we won't re-sign him because it would cost money. So
he'll go somewhere else. Yeah. So yeah. Dr. West, man, we could spend 4 hours talking about the Bengals, I feel like, for sure.
Totally.
But again, we're trying to keep the show as under an hour as we possibly can here. Cousin Steve, you agreeing with Dr. West for the first time here in the AFC North?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think there's much else to say. We've all seen what Mike Brown does or doesn't do with the money that he has. He likes to put it in his pockets, not put it in other people's pockets to put a good product on the field. He's just trying to make as much money as he can. So he doesn't care if this team is bad or not. And I think Joe Burrow has some very good potential, but I 100% agree with Wes that it's either going to be he can't get there because he's on his back, or he will get there and we won't pay him. So it doesn't matter. So I think under 6.5. I think 4 or 5 again. And Zach Taylor is on the hot seat, if not out by the end of the year.
Let's hope so.
Steve, did you read my notes for this one too? My goodness gracious. So the stat I have for the Bengals: Zach Taylor, in his first 2 years, has won 6 games total. This over-under for this year alone is 6.5. He won 2 games year 1, 4 games year 2. You increase that to 6 this year, it's still not 6.5. It's the under for me as well. I was trying to be a Bengals optimist last year, and it really cost me in our pick'em game that we do weekly here on the channel. It really hurt me because I picked them 4 or 5 times alone to win by myself, and that cost me a lot. 6.5 though is hard to get to because then you gotta think, can they get to 7 or 8?
You know what Zach Taylor's good for is getting us good draft picks.
Yeah.
Marvin Lewis at least kept us at 8 or 9 wins, and we'd be good enough not to make the playoffs or get knocked out in the first round of the playoffs and then get a shitty draft pick. At least Zach Taylor's so bad that we're getting good draft picks.
Yeah, Marvin Lewis kept us in a state of mediocrity at around 500.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah, so we'd be like, it was just enough to give us hope for the next year where we'd win 9 games because our defense played well. And then, we'd have Carson Palmer come in and throw for 4,800 yards and get hurt in the playoffs. Another story for another day, guys. But it looks like we're not taking the Bengals for division winner. Dr. West, where are you going?
I am not confident at all. I think it's a toss-up between the top 3, so I'll take the Ravens with no interest. If I was actually betting it, I would bet the Steelers just because the money I think is good, but even money, I'm going to be taking the Ravens.
Okay. Steve, just based off your picks here, it looks like you might be leaning towards the Browns as your division winner.
Yeah, I think it's the Browns this year. I think it's a tough division. It's hard to pick. But I got to stick to my guns. I think the Browns are taking it.
It's 11 games might win this division this year, guys, even with the additional game. These teams are going to beat each other up. It's going to be rough. The Bengals are going to get beaten up a lot, unfortunately, I feel like. I'm going to step away from you guys, and I'm going to take the plus 500 Pittsburgh Steelers to win this division. I called it last year. Defense still looks good. Offense, Big Ben just does his job and doesn't turn the ball over 30 times. Offense still looks good. That wide receiver core is dynamic. It's elite. Probably top 3 or 4 wide receiver core, honestly, for me in the NFL. Najee Harris, if he has that typical James Conner, Le'Veon Bell kind of role, I think that's what Mike Tomlin likes to do. Looks good to me, guys. I'm going to take the Steelers. I actually love plus 500 for the Steelers, honestly. I think they're right there in the thick of it with these teams. So, Ravens probably my number 2, though. The Browns, I just don't know, man. I know Steve took the Browns. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Yep, but we're all over the place here with the AFC North. We're stepping away from the Bengals, but stepping into the AFC South. These over-unders, again, got me scratching my head here a little bit about who set these odds, honestly. But let's do this thing here, guys. Kicking things off here with the Tennessee Titans, who are currently the division favorite per Vegas, despite having the same win projection as the Colts. Tennessee, minus 115 to win the division after 11 wins last year. Steve, we'll kick things off here with you. Tennessee, over under 9 wins.
So I think Tennessee, I don't think they got worse. I think they really only got better, especially with Julio Jones coming in, Ryan Tannehill, as long as he can stay consistent. They still have Derrick Henry in the running game. They've got a lot of good things. I don't know if they'll win the division, but at 9 wins, especially with one more game, I think it's an over.
Yeah, Steve, again, I don't even need to read my notes here for this one. They did get better to me. They added Julio Jones to pair with A.J. Brown. Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. Tannehill, go out and throw for 4,300 yards and 30 touchdowns, and this team's going to win 12 games this year. Give me the over.
I agree. This is the Dr. West lock of the week. As you'll be familiar, I'm pretty hot on the Dr. West lock of the weeks, and this is an easy one for me. Way over. I think they're a 12-win team. They did, like you said, they didn't make a lot of sexy draft picks, but they addressed their problems. Their first-round draft pick was a cornerback, which was what they needed. They are well coached, and they don't play sexy football, but they win games. And this is the worst division in football by far. So they're going way over, in my opinion.
Totally agree. Worst division in football, and you're giving the very easily, I would say, division winner 9 as an over-under.
Yeah, they might go 6-0 in this division.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the vast majority of the 9 right there.
Yeah, man. 2 games against the Jags, 2 games against the Texans, who we'll get to them here in a second. Yeah, 9. Really? Come on, guys. But we got another team here with 9 wins. Vegas is confused on this division, I think. Dr. West, then, can the Colts challenge the Titans then for the division lead over under 9 games?
Meh. Not a Colts guy. They brought in Carson Wentz, and then I think he's a downgrade from Phillip Rivers, and then now he's not even healthy. So who's going to be their quarterback? I don't know. I'm going under blindly because I don't know what they're going to do with this team. And, I mean, they do probably have automatically 4 wins against the other shitty teams in their division, but I just don't see it.
Steve, you agreed here with Dr. West on the Colts?
I think it's a hard team to pick out, but, you got to go bold sometimes. And I think I like Carson Wentz. Seems like a good guy. I'm a big Pat McAfee show watcher. They brought him on, and, he seemed like a great dude, wanted to, get back into football. I know he might be a little injured, maybe might not be ready for week 1. So they might lose a game or 2. But I think with that extra game, I think Carson Wentz gets his mojo back, especially he's back with that same coach that coached him and that Philadelphia quarterback to the Super Bowl. I think it's an over.
Taking the over. Oh, my familiar place of breaker of ties here. Offense looks good for the Colts, honestly. Again, not a Wentz truther, not a Wentz believer, not a Wentz fan, nothing along those lines. But he did pretty well in Philadelphia, I do believe, before, the whole Nick Foles and the Super Bowl thing came and stole his thunder, I feel like. Maybe he lost his mojo with that. I don't know. But 9 wins again here in just a trash division. Absolute trash division. They could steal one away from the Titans here. 10 is what I have for the Colts this year. Taking the over. 10-7. Flirting with the wild card here. Running back core looks good with Jonathan Taylor. Marlon Mack is still there, guys. Yes, he's hurt. But everything just looks good for the Colts. I don't think they win the division, but I think they get this over 9 because we move forward to our laughingstock of last year. The previously undefeated Jacksonville Jaguars last year over 1-0. They proceeded to lose their next 15 games to finish 1-15 and secured the services of Trevor Lawrence as their quarterback for the future here. So, Dr. West, 1 win last year. Can they 6x that this year? I guess 7x that this year. Over under 6.5.
Yeah, I don't know many teams that go 7x what they did the previous year, and I don't think that Trevor Lawrence is going to be enough to push them over the edge. Etienne is out for the year. Urban Meyer has never been a coach in the NFL before. I mean, listen, I'm an Ohio State fan. I like Urban Meyer, but I don't think his game is going to translate to the NFL. Just like Chip Kelly was great in college, and I mean, there's so many people that are great in college and didn't make it in the pros.
Nick Saban, yep.
Chip Kelly. I mean, I don't see his style working out, and I think they're going to be a dumpster fire. I think they're a 2 or 3 win team.
Ooh, flirting with the number 1 overall pick again, then, Dr. West?
Yeah, I think they're going to be top 10 lottery pick.
Steve, really quick here. I'm not have anything to add for what Wes said. Brand new coach Urban Meyer, brand new rookie quarterback. Yes, he's the number 1 overall pick, but how often do number 1 overall picks come in? Look at Peyton Manning when he came in, turnover pro in his rookie year, but he panned out. They did lose Etienne already. If you're asking for 7 or 8 wins out of a rookie quarterback and brand new head coach, even in a dumpster fire division, sounds kind of difficult to me personally. 5 wins this year for the Jags, but I think they look good as the year goes on. I think they start to figure some things out here. Year 2 Urban, year 2 Trevor is going to be where it's at. So we'll see what happens here, Steve. Who you got, or where you going?
I agree with you guys. I don't think we have much to add. I think what you guys said is pretty much in the nail on the head. Like, I think Trevor Lawrence will be fine. There could be a serviceable NFL quarterback. Urban Meyer already tried to bring in the Tim Tebow shit show into his freaking camp, and we all saw how that went. He immediately got bowled over trying to block somebody. Yeah, you can catch a ball, but everybody can. You know what I'm saying? So, like, good for him. Nice try, Tim, but GTFO. Like, you had your time. Get out of here.
Yep.
So, it's under.
Yep, we're saying GTFO to the Jaguars here in the division, and we're saying welcome Houston Texans. If there was a dumpster fire last year, we knew it was the Jags going in. Houston, here we go, Steve. They were our team last year for a lot of the year. Man, Wes did call this under last year as well. I believe it was one of his big locks last year. Well done, Dr. Wes, on there. But Bill O'Brien is gone. This team royally sucks, guys. Deshaun Watson's got his legal issues going on. Running backs out the wazoo. We don't even know who's starting at running back this year. Steve, I'll lead off with you here because we were high on Houston last year. How high are you on them this year?
Not. I mean, it's pretty simple. Like, Deshaun Watson was that team, and you feel like he could carry them through anything. But when he's not going to play, this team does not have the talent, does not have the coaching, does not have the fan support, does not have anything to get them above 4 wins to make them better. I think they are flirting with the number 1 overall pick this year. They might even intentionally tank it to be able to find someone to replace Watson and just get rid of him. So depending on how everything plays out.
Ditto. Dr. West, where are you going?
Ditto. Just absolute trash team, trash organization. Just give me the under. We don't need to say anything else.
Agreed. Houston, enjoy your number 1 overall pick next year. That's my lock for next year. Houston will win 2 games this year. They're going 2-15. Locking in that number 1 overall pick to find the next heir for Deshaun Watson's throne. But the big question here then, guys, where are we going for this division winner, Dr. Wes?
You can tell by the red and the green on mine. I'm going with Le Titan, the Titans.
Le Titan. Cousin Steve, where are we going?
I think it's close. I think the Colts push for it, but I believe in Wentz, but I don't think they quite get there. I think it's the Titans again.
I am also taking Le Titan, as Dr. West puts so eloquently. Love the Titans this year. 9 is a slap in the face. Let's be real, guys. I hate this 9 number. Smash it. Love it. So I know that was your lock too, Dr. West. I absolutely love it. I think they beat that by 3 or 4 wins this year. So taking the Titans, we went from the AFC North, where we were all different, to the AFC South, where we were all on the same page. Are we all going to be on the same page here? We got Cousin Steve's Denver Broncos here in this division. Kansas City, those who were going to kick things off here with a win projection of 12.5. They ran away with this division last year, 14-2. Very, very easy. Dr. West, we'll kick things off here with you. 12.5 is teasing. How do you feel about 12.5?
It is teasing. And historically, the loser of the Super Bowl, they usually have a bad year afterwards. But the loser of the Super Bowl doesn't usually have Patrick Mahomes. And their defense is actually really good. I mean, all the credit gets sent to Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But really, their defense is really good. And so because of that, I think they're a 13 or 14 win team. So I'm going to go over.
Taking the over. Cousin Steve, you agreeing here? Taking the over?
You know, the Kansas City Chiefs are so good. Year after year, I've been keeping Patrick Mahomes on my fantasy team to get him to, to do what he does and everything for that team. And it's like Wes said, I think, there was a lot of losers in the Super Bowl have a Super Bowl hangover. It's happened year after year after year. So for the bold pick, I think you have to go under, but only just. I think they win 11 or 12, but they still easily win this division.
Yeah, imagine winning 12 games and still winning division, but the under still comes through. Vegas is so high on Kansas City this year, which is kind of crazy. This team is built different. Super Bowl hangover or not, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. They still got Tyreek Hill. They still got Travis Kelce. Lock-in division winner for me, by far. Probably one of the easiest ones I think we've had. I'm going to take the over, though. Is it a confident over? No, I have them at 13-4. There's going to be some games last year, guys. If you remember the stat I gave last year, I think they had 10 wins in a row by less than 6 points. That will not happen again this year. They're either going to win games or they're actually going to finally lose those games. Like last year was absolutely nuts in how many close games they won. They're going to slip up this year, but posterity's sake, they get to 13-4, I think. I think Steve's underbet is sneakily good, and I like that a lot. But as a division winner for me, I'm just going to take the over and hope that it happens. I won't bet it, honestly, because I could see the under coming through very easily, but I will not bet anything 12.5. So, very fun year this year in this division because now we roll forward to the Los Angeles Fighting Justin Herberts, as we called them last year here on the channel. 9.5 wins. They were at 3-10 last year or 3-9 before they won the last 4 games or something like that to close out the year. Justin Herbert caught fire. Chiefs are in this division, so I don't like the division odds of even plus 450 for the Chargers. But Cousin Steve, thoughts on the Chargers this year?
Justin Herbert kind of came out and proved who a lot of people said he would be very good. But I just think the Chargers have been kind of stuck in a rut, right? And I realize Herbert is good, but it's a new head coach. There's a lot of changes and things for him to kind of go through. And I realize that the transition from college to NFL is the same. But everyone is really, really high in the Chargers, but everyone is always high in the Chargers. What do they do every year? They are the Browns of the West. They just let everyone down. And until, like the Browns, they can prove everyone else wrong, I still think they are that team. At 9.5, I think they're under.
Under, Dr. West. Under. Where are you going?
I think this line is perfect. I am going to lean on the under just because I don't think that they got a whole lot better from last year. They lost people like Henry and are replacing them with people like Jared Cook. And, it is a big thing that they got rid of Anthony Lynn. That may be worth a win, one win at least. But now Justin Herbert, he had a whole year of no crowds. He played, I think, to his peak, and I think he's due for a bit of regression, and the team is probably an 8-win team, in my opinion.
Took the words right out of my mouth here. I actually think they're like a 7-win team this year, but I will say, this was my sneaky pick last year, was the Chargers. Derwin James got hurt at the start of the year. That defense was supposed to be really good, didn't really pan out. Joey Bosa's still there. Oh, man, I just don't know what the Chargers. In this division, look at Vegas. Vegas is like, what do we do with this division other than the Chiefs? They just don't know. Two games basically separates all the other teams. All these games are going to be close, like 20 to 14 games, honestly. These defenses will be good. They will. But 7 or 8 wins for the Chargers for me still doesn't get you to 10. Unfortunately, hit the over there for 9.5. So, taking the under, that takes us to Steve. We see you got 2 unders there already, my friend. I think I might know where you're going here with the Broncos.
Man, 8.5, that's a tricky number because I think even with the higher number of games, I think that's tricky, but I think they have a great defense. They have a great wide receiver core, great tight ends. Their own line's okay. Running backs are good. I like the Javonte Williams pick. I think that was a huge pick. Teddy Bridgewater is never going to light the world on fire. He's never going to do any of that. But he is going to be a much more steady hand than Drew Lock was. Drew Lock was hot and cold. He did not make the progression that I thought he would. Drew Lock, you've basically seen out of Drew Lock what you're going to get. He's going to be a gunslinger. He's going to get it down the field, but he's not going to protect the ball. He's going to make some stupid mistakes. That's just who he is. And until either A, you can sit him on the bench and kind of let him learn from behind like this year, or if you don't think he's it, trade him, get rid of him. But I think this team is – I'm not as high on this team as I was last year, but I think with the extra game and I think with the stability at quarterback, I think you are much closer to 9 wins. So I think it's over.
Steve taking the over. Dr. West, I completely agree with what Steve said. I have them going 9-8, which, believe it or not, is over the 8.5 here. Dr. West, are you agreeing with Cousin Steve and I on the Broncos?
I too have them at 9-8 in my mind. Yeah, right. Steve's face just says it all. They're a pretty good team, and with the stability of Bridgewater, who is not going to win you a bunch of games, but he's not going to lose you a bunch of games like Drew Lock might. If he can keep them close, they have the defense to be able to win close games. If they can stay healthy, Chubb can stay healthy, if Von Miller can stay healthy, they could surprise a lot of people. And in my opinion, they're a 9 or 10 win team.
Yeah, flirting with the wild card, yay or nay?
Oh, they'll be flirting. I don't think they'll get in, but they'll be flirting.
Okay.
This is a very make or break year for Vic Fangio. So I think he has to make the playoffs this year, otherwise he's out. So they will flirt. I don't know if they'll quite get there, but they'll be close.
Okay. Vic Fangio, I agree. I think, if they get to 10, that might be good enough. 9, how I have them, I don't think gets them in, but yes, it's a step forward year for the Broncos, who had a myriad of injuries last year. Von Miller's back. I know we went through it last year, Steve. Cortland Sutton's back, all that good stuff. So, yeah, 9 or 10, feasible for Denver. The Chargers and Broncos, I just don't know, man. They're gonna flip flop back and forth probably all year long, right around 500, I would think. So. The team that is on the outs for me personally this year, and again, 8 wins last year for the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't remember how they got to 8. Derek Carr wasn't outstanding. The defense wasn't fantastic. Josh Jacobs wasn't fantastic. But yet here we are with the Las Vegas Raiders. 7 win projection this year. Dr. West, last year, you were a John Gruden believer. Are you still a John Gruden believer this year?
I am a John Gruden believer. I mean, I think they even beat the Chiefs last year, if I remember correctly.
I think it was, it was like week 4 or 5, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. With that being said, I'm going under. There's just too many holes in this team. Namely, their defense is just straight up bad. I can't name a single player on their defense that's above average. And, Derek Carr is not going to throw you back into games. So John Gruden, him and his visor, they can do all they want, but he's not going to do it.
All right, Steve. Las Vegas Raiders. Where are you going?
I want to go push here just because I think that's a good number for them. This is as good as John Gruden football is ever going to get in the NFL at this day and age, is even football, if not a little worse. But I don't think the Chargers are going to be that bad. I think they're under 9.5, but I don't think they're quite bottom of the division. And I think as soon as John Gruden realizes that David Carr will not win him more than 8 games, he's going to tank games to get the guy that he wants. So he is, after 1 or 2 games, he sees where this team is at. If he's 2-0, then he'll push on with it. If not, but I don't think that's going to happen. If they're 1-1 or 0-2, he's just going to be like, you know what, whatever, throw his hands up and get rid of Carr. So I think this is an under.
Under? Is Mariota still there? Does anybody know? I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
He did
resign, yeah.
Yeah, so Mariota coming in week 4, week 5 might be the shot in the arm that this team needs. He still has those legs, guys. He's still a young guy. He was in the Jameis Winston class, of course. But that being said, 7 is too high for me for the Raiders. Last year, I was not a fan. very unmemorable games last year, other than the Chiefs' miraculous win. But I think the Chiefs won their second game with them like 35-17 or something like that. Like absolutely destroyed them. They caught lightning in a bottle that day and caught the Chiefs maybe on a bad day or something like that. But trying to say the Raiders are going to get to 8-9 or better with the rest of this division being as good as I think it really is, honestly. The bottom feeders for me are the Raiders in this division, not sniffing winning this division even at 22-1. But for me, guys, I'll go and throw mine up here while we're talking about division winners. It's going to be the Chiefs. I think it's a landslide, honestly. You're basically, in order for them to win the division, they're saying they either have to falter or the Chargers and Broncos have to get the 12 or 13 wins. That's a big step from last year. Can't see that happening. Give me the Chiefs fairly easily. Cousin Steve.
Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs. I mean, it's you'd be dumb to pick something else. I don't think the other teams have made those steps to challenge them. I think this is the easiest lock in the divisions you can pick.
Agreed. Yep, we're rolling with the Chiefs here. Back-to-back locks, essentially, for us with the Titans and the Chiefs here. That takes us to our summary here, guys. You can see all of our picks here. We ran the gauntlet here on the AFC South and the AFC West, taking the same picks, with the AFC North being the big divisive factor here in the AFC. Cousin Steve, you ran the AFC last year. We'll start off here with your AFC Super Bowl pick.
Ooh, this is a tough one. There's a lot of good picks. The Chiefs would be a great pick. You can maybe see a wild card team like the Ravens coming in again, or maybe the Browns. But they were so close last year. I think after having that experience, they get back to that same point. I think they can finally falter the Chiefs when they get to it. I think the Bills go to the Super Bowl.
Taking the Bills. I had a feeling you were going to go there, Steve. I really did. Where are the Bills? Oh, they're all the way up here.
No.
Dr. West, where are you going?
I'm surprised. I mean, the Chiefs are the obvious pick, but that's like so boring. If you want to get somebody that picks the Chiefs, just watch ESPN. If you want to watch us, then we're going to pick some different people. I'm going with the Titans. I think that they do everything right, and Mike Vrabel is going to a Super Bowl, baby.
Yeah, Dr. West, you're killing me, man. I am also going with Le Teton to get to the Super Bowl here. That is our new name for them for the whole year, guys. If you don't call them Le Teton, we're not doing it right here. Le Teton Super Bowl bound. I don't know where it is this year, unfortunately, off the top of my head, but Kansas City, they've made it the past 2 years in a row. Third time's a charm here. They don't make it this year. We got to get someone else in there. I am taking the Titans. They look really good this year. I think Julio Jones is that missing piece for them on offense. With Mike Vrabel, who is a very good defensive coach, they're going to pound and ground here, especially if they can get to 12 or 13 wins and even maybe get that home field advantage. Bring it back there to Tennessee and get it out of Kansas City for the first time in a couple of years. But Le Teton, Dr. West.
Le Teton, rise again.
Le Teton. One last question here, guys. Surprise Super Bowl pick from the AFC. Who wants to lead us off here?
Go ahead. All right, I'll say the Dolphins. They already have them winning their division, and they do everything right. I think they could make it to the Super Bowl if things break their way.
Cousin Steve?
Obviously, I think the surprise you have to go look at and think a wild card team, right? Not a team that's obviously going to win the division. So a team that I think could be good, that could surprise everybody coming to the wild card, I think is the Indianapolis Colts.
Colts, okay. I like that too. My last pick for the surprise pick here, I'm going to take the Steelers. Big Ben, final rodeo. I was on the Drew Brees train last year. Final rodeo here for Drew Brees last year. We called it. We knew we had 1 year left in him. He gave it a run. Fortunately, he ran into Tom Brady. That's how it goes sometimes, unfortunately. But Steelers offense looks good. I still am high on their defense. I think that looks really good. The plus 500 for the division, it feels so good, honestly, for that crapshoot of a division. So I'll take the Steelers for my surprise pick. And that will do it for our AFC over-under prediction video here, guys. Thank you all for hanging out with us here today. We've got NFC video dropping very, very soon here as well, guys. Season's right around the corner. We hope to see you guys in the next video.